Welcome to the second Big Boy reading vlog, where I will be reading the whole entire Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. This is episode 2. I don't know if I'm going to do another one of these. I mean, I know there's going to be one in October, but other than that, I'm not sure, because I'm not feeling this video series, right now at least, so maybe I'll come back and do it later. But I do want to read these books and get through them, and from what I understand, Magnus Chase is in them, so at least we get a little bit of gay for Pride Month. If you couldn't tell, that's what this month's theme is going to be in general. But I'm going to read this whole entire trilogy, starting with Clockwork Angel. I do have the first one in audiobook, and I think the second one's also available at my library, and the third one I have on hold already. I have the whole entire box set. The only time I opened up these books was to check the amount of pages to make sure it would work for this reading vlog series, which is basically me reading through the larger books on my TBR. And I've tried to like do upper of 450 to 500. This definitely works for it, because Clockwork Angel is 479, Clockwork Prince is 498, and Clockwork Princess is 568. I put on a sticky note on the back. But that's what this is. This is literally just the intro. The way that this vlog is going to work is going to be slightly different from my normal ones, where I check in halfway through each book. And then at the end of each book, it's going to be more like I read as much as I can for every day. And then I give updates at the beginning of the next day before I read some more, because it's easier for me to film in the morning than at night. I am starting Clockwork Angel today. I think it's already marked on Goodreads as currently reading, even though I haven't started it because I was waiting to film this. But yes, that's what this is, so stick around if you want to hear my thoughts. I have read the Mortal Instruments series. The highest I've rated one of the books was book 4 at 3.5 stars. Generally did not like them. I think I rated one 1.5 stars. Maybe 1 stars. There may have been a 2.1. I don't know. It's confusing. But some people who I trust have said, even though they didn't like the Mortal Instruments series, they did enjoy this series. And because it's more of a historical, I don't know what time period it is, but it's definitely not current day. And so I think I may like it more. We'll see. And if all else fails, Magnus is in them, so. Okay, I've already filmed this, at least the beginning part of this, but I don't know if it went wrong with it, but here we are. Anyways, I think I started this the first, and I read like 59 pages that first day, and then I read the whole entire thing basically the second, and that's what this is. This is me talking about it and how I gave it 3.5 stars. And that is that. Go to past me. I already got this audiobook of the second one, which is great because I listened and read at the same time. Can you tell that this is like nice and metallic? Because you kind of can. I do like the covers of these. These are much more my speed than the Mortal Instruments. So far, at least this one. The romance, I don't give 2 cares about. Okay, seriously. It's like between Will and Jem, who will she choose? I'm like, I know she's gonna choose Will because he's the one who's rude to her and the bad boy and all this stuff. And sleeps around and drinks alcohol and like is mean to her but clearly likes her and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Jem's just like a nice guy. Like, why can't the girl choose the nice guy for once? Like, he's just nice to her and understands her and stuff. Meanwhile, Will's just like real douche sometimes. That being said, the mystery aspect was very fun. I really liked that. And there's still a little bit more. Like, most of the mystery for this one was finding her brother. And they did find him. But now, like, it's more of like a mystery of like, how did she get her powers? How is she part warlock but not a warlock? All this stuff. And so that's an intriguing time. I really liked that part. And also the atmosphere. I wasn't sure what time period this was. But it's 1800s, late 1800s London. So dark and moody, and if Things in Jars told me anything, I really like that aesthetic. So there's that. Did I have to look up characters by their last names to see which ones related to who in the Mortal Instruments? Yes. Did I have to write it down on a sticky note in here? Yes. Also, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I didn't like the romance. The mystery aspect was fun. The setting was so much nicer in these ones. I liked the main character more in this one. I liked Tessa more than I liked Clary, and all that jazz. Which is why I'm rating it a 3.5. It's not quite a 4-star, mostly because I was just really annoyed by the stupid romance that kept on trying to shoehorn in, and I'm just like, just get the, I don't care. But 3.5 is the highest I rated one of the Mortal Instruments books, which was the 4th one. So, by all accounts, this is the second favorite book in the universe so far. Also, there wasn't enough Magnus Chase. That was the other thing. Like, Magnus Chase was in it for 0.2 seconds, which means that it wasn't enough gays. Though every single time a character talked to another character, I was like, are you gay? Are you gay? Are you gay? 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 It's called Pride Month. I can do what I want. It's just basically me being like, where's the gays? I want the gays. But yes, I'm upset there wasn't enough Magnus Chase in this, and just gays in general. Because, like, it's mostly Pride books. Don't pay, these are different from my actual TBR. These are just all the extra books. Don't worry about that. But, it's Pride Month. I want to read the gay books, and yet there was no gay. I don't know how long the audiobook for the sequel is, for Clockwork Prince is. Also, what's up with the angel? That's another thing. But, I don't know how long it is, or if it's the same voice actor, but the narrator for the first one was the actress. It took me a minute to recognize it, despite the fact that I never watched that edition of Elizabeth Bennet. She played Elizabeth Bennet in the Colin Firth edition of Pride and Prejudice. So that was fun. So she could do the British accents. I mean, I think she's American, and Tessa's American, but everyone else is English. Jem is half Chinese, I believe. His mother was from Shanghai and all that jazz, but otherwise, everyone's just straight up from England. So, there was that. And, I guess I could talk about some of the plot. Like, this is an old book. Basically, Tessa gets a letter from her brother after their last other living relative dies, to come to England, and he'll like take care of her and all this stuff. And so she shows up to England, and apparently all of it was fake. Gets kidnapped by the Dark Sisters, who are warlocks. I think one of them's a demon, the other one's a warlock. And basically torture her to get her to learn her powers. Weird cut while the mail goes back down the road. Anyways, she can shapeshift into anyone, but also she has their memories and such when she does that. Which, like, some people have been able to shapeshift before, I think, but the memories thing is new. So that's fun. So they get her to learn that, and then, basically she learns that the point of this all is so that she can marry the Magister, so that he can have her powers. And then there's an escape with Will. She ends up at the Institute, living with them, basically, while she, like, helps them solve all this what's, like, happening, like, who's the Magister, what do they want, what's all these crimes going on, as well as them helping her find her brother, who has also been taken by the Dark Sisters and the Magister, and all that jazz. And, you know, also, a lot of, robots, technically, androids, metallic people, very steampunk type, android type situation, like, Hunting Jack the Ripper. Is that what it's called? Or Killing Jack the Ripper? Something like that. that book, very similar to that with the cogs and stuff. But yes, that's what this was. There were some other things, of course, but I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone. I expected the ending to go one way, and it did it, but in a weird, like, I expected her to agree at the end, like the Magister have like people's lives on like the line and be like, if you come with me, I will spare them, and she does that, but then she's like nutty and stabs herself, but not really. And he's just like, aw, fam, and just yeets right out of there. Also, the Magister is not who you expect, which is very interesting. I did not see that coming. But yes, that is this book. 3.5 stars, which I'm very happy with. I don't know when I will start book 2. That could honestly start that at any moment, but I have some other books I want to read first, so we'll see when I start book 2. I can actually think in the middle now because I have a physical book. We're gonna ignore whatever sounds come from my windows. It's fine. It is the 12th, and I got to a quarter way through Clockwork Prince yesterday during impromptu sprints. Also during those impromptu sprints, I made like a just under 3-minute audio clip of me basically talking about why I dislike this book, especially in comparison of the first one. And honestly, I'm contemplating not like just straight up putting it in, because this was sleep deprived me, so like, I don't know, she was saying weird things, I don't know. But I may put it at the end as like a little bonus thing, so like stay past my outro little thing, and I'll have it there if you want to see that or hear that. But Clockwork Prince, basically gonna reiterate what I said during that, but first I am going to tell you the plans for this. Technically I did start this like 5-6 days ago, but I only read the prologue then, so I just restarted yesterday, because I have not been reading much. I just don't want to pick this back up, though the plan is to finish this today. I don't know how much longer I have in the audiobook with ×3 speed, because that's how I'm doing it, fam. I'm not living my best life. People did want me to just DNF it, but I'm gonna finish the series. But I will finish this today for sure, and then I'm gonna try to get at least 150 pages into the third one later on tonight, and then update you on like final thoughts and initial thoughts tomorrow morning, because that's gonna be like late tonight when I'm reading these. But thoughts on the Clockwork Prince so far. The way that I can talk about this is basically in comparison of the first one, which is the first one was very much Tessa focused, which made sense. I keep on, okay, it is Tessa. I thought for a second that her nickname is actually Tess, and I was like, ooh, I think some people do call her Tess in this, but you know. But the first one was very Tessa focused. We don't exactly see through the lens of Tessa because of the way that Cassandra Clare writes, but that's fine. It was still focused around her because her powers were the caveat of the whole entire book. The mystery was based around her and her family, all this stuff. So it made sense that she was the focus, also because she had never been part of this world before. She was very much like the reader, where she didn't understand anything. And so, like, I forget the terminology, if there even is terminology for this, when, like, the main character of the book is supposed to represent the reader and how they don't understand this world yet. And so as they're learning, we're learning. And then also, she's a big reader. I'm ignoring the sound of the words I said. She's a big reader. This one starts with a quote from A Tale of Two Cities, so I had to, like, look up the meaning of that quote, because it was a pretty long quote. And there was a Charlotte Bronte for the last chapter, I think. Oh no, this next chapter. But she's like supposed to be like the reader and all this stuff, and that one was 90% mystery, 10% romance. And I didn't like the romance, but like the fact that it was 10%, I could just ignore it and live my life in the mystery aspect, okay, right? And the world building and the magic and all that fun stuff. This one is more of a 50-50 split. because it is Will focused. Now, if you do not know, I don't like Will. Will is the ancestor of Jace. So they are very similar in a lot of ways. I can definitely sense that. Like, they both play piano, and they're both the dark boy who's like super attractive. But like, they have a way about them where like they're rude to the girl they like to protect the girl from loving him, even though he loves her, so that like she doesn't end up with him because he's bad for her type situation. And he's just mean to everyone because that's the way he lives life. But he's also snarky, but everyone is attracted to him, and he like drinks a lot and sleeps around and all this stuff. But also he's like a badass killer. I think the problem, because I like with Jace, I was annoyed with Jace too, but like I wasn't a big fan of Clary. So like I was like, okay, so like you're just being rude to her, sure, whatever. I actually like Tessa. So the fact that he's calling her a prostitute, being really mean to her at any point, listen, anytime she claps back, I'm just like, you go girl, like fight that bitch. I do not care. And then he's all like, I'm hurt, how dare you? And I'm just like, bitch, you called her a prostitute. And also like he's just mean to her at all times, and then they'll like run into each other at night in the library, or she'll be having a bad dream and he'll wake her up from it, and they'll have like a quick little conversation, and it will be like cute and romantic. But only when it's just the two of them. Whenever they're around other people, he's just mean. But also he's clearly very jealous of the fact that Jem clearly likes her, and she is like hanging out with Jem because Jem makes her laugh and makes her feel alive and less like a problem and like a creature that should be looked into and all this stuff. Like he makes her feel normal type situation. And this is where I come in, where I'm like, I'm team Jem. Okay, I do not like, it's very anything that is character based about one character is usually about Will, and it is about his tragic backstory. Which he like, we know from the first one he runs away from home like pretty young, but this one it's hinted at that there was a demon that cursed him like 5 years ago, and that's why he wants to break the curse before he lets him and Tessa become a thing. He's clearly in love, like he's in love with her, but he doesn't want to be a thing with her until the curse is broken, so that he knows he can be there for her. And so in the meantime he's just mean to her so that she stays away. At which point I'm like, okay, so if you do break the curse, and so you can be with her again, is your plan to just be like, okay, yeah, so I'm fine now, we can totally like make out and stuff, and you expect her to just come crawling back? Like, because is she supposed to ignore the fact that you quite literally called her a prostitute? This is like the main thing that he's done. I'm gonna never let that drop. And then he's all like jealous when someone else likes her. And I'm just like, no, it's not a good enough reason. Like, there's no reason for you to treat her like this. You could have just like told her. Hear me out. Just told her. Like, you know, Jem did. You know, Jem with the sickness that's killing him, that like he could have been like all dark, mysterious, and rude to her so that she didn't stay around him because he's gonna die soon and all this stuff. But instead he told her. I was like, hey, this is what's happening. But if you still want to be friends, we can be friends. And they're best buds, which means she would most definitely understand and be friends with you, my dude. Like, and probably help you break the curse. Hear me out. The only perk of this is that we get Magnus Chase, and I love Magnus Chase. And I'm just hoping we get some gay Magnus Chase times. Also, I'm pretty sure doesn't in the Mortal Instruments, isn't it brought up that Magnus Chase had like a lover named Will or something, and his name's Will? I don't know if it's the same Will or what's up. I'm gonna have to like make sure I have the right name for that guy, honestly, because what's happening there? But yeah, I'm angry. And then also to make it seem like Will is a better character, a bunch of new characters are shoehorned, especially some characters that they're not good people, clearly, but they're described as attractive. So like, they're not good people, but they're attractive, and like, I'm pretty sure they're the ancestors of the Lightwood family, for the mortal instruments. So, like, I know their family and his family, like, are friends in the future and all this stuff, but, like, I don't, like, they are some of the worst people in this universe right now, just to make it seem like Will is a better person because he doesn't like them. Like, that's it. And then there's also, like, an Irish, like, the new cook is Irish, and so he's all like, well, you better not make me potato-only things. And I'm just like, dude, a little insensitive there. And she never talks, and then the brother of another character, from the first one came in, and he also never talks. And also it's more focused on one of the serving girls who has a crush on Jem. And it feels very much like we're giving her more of a character in this book. Like, she was in 2 minutes of, like, book time in the first one. And it feels like she's being thrown in as more of a focus in this book, just so when, Tessa and Will eventually do end up together, because if you tell me they don't end up together, I'll be honestly surprised. So when they do end up together, Jem can have someone to be with. So basically she's his fallback girl, but, like, we gotta give her a little bit of character first. Like, that's what this feels like, and I'm not having a good time. Not people talking right outside my window. Basically, what I was saying was that I don't care about the romance. I care more about the mystery. Where I left off, it seems like it's gonna go more into the mystery, but kind of more of the mystery of Will's background, and, like, I kind of care, but also it's just gonna be used as more stuff for the romance, so I also don't care. And that's that. Like, I'm not having a good time. If I were to rate it, 2.53, but we'll see when I finish it tonight, honestly. Okay, I'm gonna edit this now, and hopefully you can't hear all the people in the background. I did it later than planned. Here, I'll actually take down the hood now. That was a physical representation of my feelings. I did it. I did it. And here, I'll stand on this side so you can actually see the whiteboard. What is there to say about this book? Do not read it when I said I was going to. It is the 13th? 14th. I finished it yesterday, the 13th, and I said I was going to finish it the 12th. I did not read it all that day because I just didn't want to pick up this book. But for the purposes of this video, I have to, because today's Tuesday, which means I have to read the whole entire third book, which is 550 plus pages, today. But that's fine. I finished it. I did finish it. The urge to DNF this. Remember that time that I said that I have decided that when I don't like a book, I'm just gonna DNF it, because there's not enough time in the universe to read all the books I want to read, so I should just DNF the ones that I'm not enjoying. And then I went and finished this, even though it was a 2-star. I really struggled between rating it 2 and 2.5, but I was like, it doesn't deserve the 2.5. I mean, obviously this is going to be spoilers because I can't talk much about it without, I mean, this is the second book in the series. I'm hoping this is Middle Book Syndrome. I'm really hoping, since I had such high hopes for the first one. But this one, I just, like, I figured out, I guessed, actually, what was going down with Will Herondale. And it's still not okay. Honestly, she forgave him faster than I expected her to. But, like, it doesn't matter because she's engaged to Jem now. And that makes me, like, it should make me happy because I'm Team Jem. I love Jem. Protect him at all costs. Protect this man's at all costs. But I have a feeling that he's gonna recognize that Will and Tessa can't keep their eyes off of each other, and then let her go, despite the fact that it breaks his heart, because Will live longer, and they, like, both love each other and all this stuff. And also the fact that she clearly loves Jem as well as Will, but as soon as she learned that she had the opportunity of being with Will but turned him down, her heart just wasn't in there. Like, she suddenly found him gross, and I was just like, what? What? The mystery itself, yeah, I still like it. I do want to know what's going on with her true identity, like who her actual parents are, and what's going on with that, and what she is. But also, just like, I want it to be over with. When I say the most enjoyable part of this book to me was, one, the narrator. There were different narrators this time. There were two, first off. I haven't heard the female one, but she did a pretty good job too as well. Especially the Irish accent, because there's a new cook in this one and she's Irish. So she has to sing with an Irish accent, and she did pretty good. But also the male narrator. And I was like, he sounds familiar. Apparently he's the one who narrated or at least co-narrated my favorite book in the Mortal Instrument series. Which makes sense, because his voice is the only way I can imagine Magnus Chase talks. Like, he's got the perfect voice for Magnus Chase. So that was the most enjoyable part. And also thinking about how the covers, like, why the covers are the way they are. Like, why does this one have Tessa on the cover when the first one followed Tessa? And why does this one have Jem on the cover when it follows Will? And why is Will on the first one? Like, it follows Tessa. Why is Will on the first one? And also, why is the first one silver, this one gold, and this one rose gold? Like, I'm pretty sure the mail just went up, so I'm just gonna finish this off fast and say, also, I feel like the other most enjoyable part for this was just me theorizing what all the quotes in the beginning of each chapter mean, especially Tale of Two Cities, because I bring up A Tale of Two Cities multiple times, and a large quote from it is what starts the book. So, like, if I were to go into this with, like, an actual analytical, like, looking into it type mind, annotating type mindset, I would definitely look more into how the quotes pertain to the story itself and all the deeper meanings of that. And that interests me. But the story itself isn't interesting enough to do that. And also, like, I don't want to annotate it because I am going to get rid of this bad boy. Well, I'm going to get rid of the whole series, but, like, I'm going to get rid of this bad boy. But, yeah, 2 stars. And now I have to read this whole 550 plus page book. I think it's like 568. And I'm not I'm not scared in a sense of, like, the story itself. I'm scared, or, like, what's gonna happen or any of that stuff. I'm scared in I just don't want to read a bad book again. And that's that. But 2 stars. I don't know. I'll go over it all again at the end, but I don't care about the romance or Will, and that's what most of this book was. So that's my reasoning. And so I'll see you tomorrow with my thoughts on this, because I'm not gonna update you halfway through. I'm just gonna read straight through. That's what I'm gonna do. That's how I'm gonna have to do this. The power of the audiobook will save me. But I'll talk to you tomorrow. I am sure you've missed the sounds of the bird, but the windows stay open because there's a giant wasp in here. Last I saw it was over there. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. I've been informed that it will not sting me unless if I try to kill it. So the window's just open. Also, we're not talking about my hair. Yes, I have to wash it. We're ignoring that because I was trying to finish this. Because I did not read it all yesterday. I read like 175 pages yesterday, and then I finished it today with the power of 3 times speed and Farming Simulator 2019, which is just full circle because I read, I think, 5 out of 6 of the Mortal Instrument books I read while at least partially playing Farming Simulator 2019. So it seemed only fitting that I read this one while playing Farming Simulator 2019, and I want you all to know that I have multiple sheep and chickens, and I am thriving, okay? But yes, I finished it. I finished it. Thankfully, it follows more of Gem in this one than it did in the other two, which, of course, I enjoy. The synopsis is like it tells you Tessa gets kidnapped, which, like, I don't know why the synopsis would tell you that, but, Tessa gets kidnapped, and then Will and Gem have to go fight and find her, except Gem is actually dying, and, never actually goes gets her, and this book is extremely slow. This book is extremely slow, and way too long. Like, it's 500 and what, like 60 pages, and, it's so slow. Like, I don't need to know about every second of Will's struggles trying to get to Tessa. Like, I'm good. Thankfully, some people died that I didn't like. We got that. It was weird because the last one ended with a character who was there were two main underlings underneath the main bad guy, and the last one ended with one of them dying, and this one started with the other one dying. So it was very weird. But here we are. And it does connect to the moral instruments, like, pretty good. Pretty good. I get it. And all I can say, really, because I don't want to talk too much about the story itself, because this is the third book in the series. But, second book, middle book syndrome. And the other thing is that, I don't care what anyone says, because Gem and Tessa are technically endgame, therefore I win, and everyone can fight me, okay? I am Team Gem forever. No one can stop this. It is just my madness. But yes, I was trying to figure out what to rate this. It was between a 3 and a 3.5. But I think that 0.5 would just basically me being happy about it finally being over type of situation. Me, like, actually finishing the series, rating the series. So I'm going with a 3. Which means the average rating for the series is technically just below 3 stars. Which isn't that bad. Because I'm pretty sure if I would calculate what it is for the moral instruments, it would be so bad. So bad. But I did like this one more. It was more of a 40-60 mix. Like 60% mystery, 40% romance. And most of the romance was between Tessa and Gem. And then, like, every once in a while, she and Will would look across the room, and that would be it. Like, they would hold hands, and then her and Will would look at each other from across the room. And then, more mystery on who she actually is, what the Magister wants, and all the political intrigue, I guess. And then also a lot more focus on most of the side characters, which I am here for, because that means I didn't have to deal with Will being a giant butt face, but also because of the things that you learn in the second book, he's less of a butt face in this one. So, that in general made the characters more enjoyable. In general, I liked it less than the first one, but I get it, and also I get why people say the ending of this one is emotional, especially the epilogue. Because, like, people said the same thing about the Mortal Instruments, and I was like, you know, like, I was looking at reviews, and people were like, the emotional heartbreak of the series, and I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. This one, I somewhat get it. Like, I get it. It was actually kind of sad for a second there. I cared enough about the characters to actually be sad. For just a heartbeat, but, like, it was enough to make me feel things. But it's just too long, and too slow. For me to really enjoy it enough. Like, why does this have to be 500 plus pages? I mean, if it wasn't 500 plus pages, it wouldn't have been recorded. This whole video wouldn't have happened. And you wouldn't have had to see my basic, drop into insanity that it was the second book, dear God. But yes, this one was like, okay, it was okay. But I get the hype. I get the hype. And I will continue with the Shadowhunter universe. I don't know when that will happen. Probably not for a bit. But like, I will continue with the universe and test out one of the other series, because I've heard her newer series are much more enjoyable, which I get because like the progression of writing over time. She obviously got a lot of practice. She got, what, 9 books of practice between these 2 series before she started writing any of those, I feel like. So like, yeah, her craft was toned down. Like, she knows what she's doing more, and I assume like it's all planned out and all this fun stuff. So I'll test out one of the other series and see if I want to like full force go into the rest of the Shadowhunter universe, because they are all YA, and I'm starting to dislike YA, especially since I've heard that she has a common theme of love triangles and all that fun stuff, and I'm not here for it. If you couldn't tell, my least favorite part was the romance in this whole entire series, which is rare for me. I feel like I should mention that. That is rare for me. But yes, that is my final thoughts. I will go through right now and just like list off my rating for every single one and why in like a sentence and then end off this vlog. So hello, I am still on team. I love the covers, okay, and the spines. Spines are nice too. But first one, Clockwork Angel, the one I like the most in the series, 3.5 stars. More of mystery and vibe and character stuff and less of a romance. And that, all the character and vibe and mystery part, thoroughly enjoyed. Like, all my favorite parts of this book. So, or this series. And honestly, I think if some of her future books have less of like love triangle stuff, I may enjoy them, because the romance stuff I'm not the biggest fan of, but like it's everything else that I do enjoy, and the magic system, the universe, like I do enjoy it. So like, yeah, but 3.5 stars. And then we got the infamous 2-star one. What honestly was this? I don't, the mystery very much was put on the back burner for the romance, which is like fine, but like as someone who didn't like the romance and definitely enjoyed the mystery, as well as the atmosphere, was definitely put on the back burner. Like, the last 2 books definitely did not feel like they took place in London as much as the first book did, especially 1800s London. So didn't reach the same heights. Weird cut again because my mom went out with the dog, and you can definitely hear it with a very open window right now. I don't even know where the wasp went. I'm scared for my life. But, yeah, didn't live up to the other 2 books at all. Definitely a thing of middle book syndrome. I think, I'm assuming, I don't know. I've read reviews where most people prefer this one to the first one, and I don't, am I just the only person here who didn't like the romance? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy. Who knows? I think it's mostly just because Will, and I don't like Will. Like, I like him better in the third one because they do explain why he's such a giant butt face. But, like, I just don't care for him for the first 2 books because he's just mean. And I don't find that enjoyable to read. I don't know about you. But he is better in this one because he can be himself. And I love that for me. And this one was definitely less of the mystery on the back burner. The atmosphere was a little bit on the back burner still, but the characters were very much the forefront, and the mystery was still like very much there, but able to show like the romance, and even the romance was part of the mystery a little bit. Like, it was kind of tied together better in this one, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, because I'm just rambling at this point, I feel like 3 stars. For, I think the average rating for the series is a 2.8, so I'm just gonna say the whole entire series as a whole is 3 stars, which I'm fine with. I should probably at some point calculate what the moral instrument one is. Maybe I'll do that while I wait for this video to export, and then put in the description. So like check out the description for that. So you can see that I most definitely did enjoy this series more than the moral instrument series. But I am ending off this vlog officially by telling you, while I put these over here, to stay tuned for next week, because the gay vlog is happening. But also check out my Goodreads, my Storygraph, my Instagram, all linked below. Instagram I've very much been more active with in the past like month. Very proud of myself for that one. And also Goodreads. I'm always on Goodreads, like it's insane. And stay tuned for reading sprints for whenever those happen. Those are happening whenever they happen at this point. But yes, that is the end of this vlog. I can't believe it's happened. I'm gonna play the outro now, and then after that I'm probably gonna have the book cover for what was it, Clockwork Prince, that I had that voice memo I made of myself at like 12:50 in the morning at one point, or like 11:50 at night, something like that. It was like crazy night. I was very tired, and I had thoughts and opinions. It was whichever one. I don't remember which one. But I will have that 2-minute audio clip at the very end after the little outro thing that I have. So like if you wanna listen to me ramble for 2 minutes while sleep deprived, listen to that.
Okay, thing about Infernal Devices. The cover of the first one was Will. The cover of this one is Jem. And the cover of the third one is Tessa. And yet the first book felt more like a book about Tessa, which makes sense because she is the main protagonist and also knows nothing of this world like us, the reader. So she's kind of like the reader. We see through her eyes because we both know nothing of this world, and are believed to just be human and all this jazz. But this one seems to be more about Will, and his background, the stuff about his apparent, like something to do with a demon and a curse, and this Cecily person that he's now mentioned twice. And so it feels weird because wouldn't that mean that this cover should be Will and the last one should have been Tessa? And then like make the next one about Jem? But also because Tessa had so much more enjoyability about her, this is just less fun. Like Tessa's much more enjoyable character read than Will, because Will is just a jerk to everyone. And Tessa was just a nice person who's trying to do good and find her brother. And just a typical person for as far as she knew until that point. But it just, because Will doesn't have much going for him except for this really rude personality that seems to be a front to protect people, kind of like Jace. Which is why it doesn't surprise me that Jace is his descendant. They kind of have to shoehorn more stuff about the other characters, like the servant girl Sophia is in a lot more of this. Like she gets her own point of view and her like crush on Jem, and then also we get to see like Jem and Tessa flirt, despite the fact that it's supposed to be Will, and like Will's the one in love with her clearly, but like all that jazz. And then also we've got like a bunch of new characters, none of which are likable, but are even less likable than Will, to make Will look better, so that we see a point of him having a Will focused book. You feel me? Am I just gonna put this voice note in the vlog? Maybe.